So let's take a look at this ultra-wide QD OLED monitor from Samsung. This is the 34-inch Odyssey OLED G85SB. So this is 21 by 9, 3440 by 1440. It's 175 Hertz gaming monitor. So I'm gonna take a look at their product page, see what Samsung is telling us about this product, talk about the QD OLEDs in general, and I also did some research to get a little bit more information, because as we saw in the previous video with the S95C, on the product page on the Samsung website we don't get anything. We get almost no information whatsoever. So I don't know how these companies, they are expecting people to read this, just read this marketing BS and just pull the trigger. Like, that makes no sense. So why would you spend this kind of money, especially for the S95C? That's $4,500 after reading nothing, like no information about the product. So I really don't understand that. So I'm try to get a little bit more information. But I would definitely wait for a review on this monitor. And I would recommend you, especially hardware unbox and also monitors unbox. That's probably one of my favorite YouTube channels, because they just do great reviews and they test GPUs, CPUs, and gaming in general. So I am very interested, especially in taking a look at this graph for the QD OLED monitor. Why? This is the response time graph. So what this shows you, basically, green is very good, very low number, and orange so-so, and red is like bad response time. And this is gonna be very interesting, because I heard from Classy Tech Calibrations that the QD OLED technology is not as responsive near black. So the gray to gray, the responsiveness of the pixels near black is significantly slower. Okay? So I am expecting to see this response time graph, especially here. This transitions from 26 to 26, 51 to 51, and probably 77 to 77. These transitions should be slower. And that's a bad thing. And that's going to affect the motion clarity of the display. So when you move the camera, let's say you are playing a horror game, you move the camera, it's going to look like an LCD screen. It's not gonna look as clear in motion, even at 175 Hertz, like this monitor can do. So very interested in seeing this graph. So me personally, I would not buy this monitor until I see this graph, and I would like to see a hardware unbox review of this monitor before pulling the trigger, because they do great reviews in general. Also, so let's take a look at the product page. Let's see if we see something here that gives us some information. So basically we just have a cool animation video here. So you see that the monitor has some RGB on the back, which I don't care. I'm never gonna use that RGB, but it's something cool if you're spending this kind of money, which this monitor is like $1,500. Let me see. Yeah, so you choose your size here. Yeah, I think it's like $1,500. So this is the price in pounds. Yeah, I'll post the link in the description. You can check it out. So let's see what else we have here. So FreeSync Premium. This monitor, I was taking a look at before they announced this monitor, the rumors. They were saying that this monitor might be G-Sync Ultimate, and it seems like it is not. It doesn't have G-Sync Ultimate. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So G-Sync Ultimate has hardware on the monitor, and usually the monitors that have G-Sync Ultimate, they need cooling. They require cooling because that hardware, it gets hot. So I do not definitely don't like to have a fan on the monitor, because that's noisy. I don't like that. So for VRR, what I care about is having no screen tearing. That's it. And the advantages of having a G-Sync Ultimate monitor is probably more that those monitors, they require to have some a standard of qualities. So if you read the G-Sync Ultimate certification, it's gonna tell you, okay, for a monitor to have this certification, they need to be this good on this, they need to be this good on this. So it is going to guarantee that it's a monitor that, you know, complies with those standards of quality. But this might be a downside even if a monitor have this, because it might have a fan and it might be noisy. Not all the time, but that can happen, and that's a deal breaker for me. So for VRR, what I care about is no screen tearing and nothing else. I don't care about anything else unless this has a special input lag benefits, which I am not aware of. And especially with an OLED, it's not gonna matter at all. So it seems like it doesn't have that, because they are not advertising it here. So this is an article which I'm gonna have a link in the description of the video. It is an older article before the monitor was announced. It is from Flat Panels HD. But there's some cool speculations, let's say, on this article. So I definitely want to see a review. But they are saying that this monitor is capable of 250 nits full screen, which is very good, and up to 1000 nits peak brightness. But if we look at the Samsung product page, we are going to see that this monitor is Display HDR True Black 400. Okay, so on one of my previous videos, I mentioned this certification and I said, okay, that is not very good, because what this means is that the company is telling you that they can guarantee you up to 400 nits peak brightness. And somebody said, no, you don't know what that is. You don't know what this certification is. Do the search. And I did. And that's exactly what it is. Let's take a look at what that certification means. True Black 400. Peak luminance 400 nits. That's it. So it's basically very good black levels. So it's basically an OLED. It has to be an OLED. So the black level needs to be as low as 0.0005, which is basically the lowest black level that can be measured with the color emitters that we have. So it's perfect black, basically, and up to 400 nits. That's it. That's what the certification is. So I don't know why this Flat Panels HD, they think that it's going to be up to 1000 nits peak brightness, and it might be, but that's not what Samsung is promising with that certification. So yeah, it is 250 nits full screen peak brightness. So full screen brightness. So let me talk about that. For some reason, I see that people recommending monitors for desktop usage, they are very interested in having a high full screen brightness, specifically for desktop usage. So they would say, oh, don't get an OLED because the OLED is going to have a much lower full screen brightness, get an LCD. But I cannot understand, why would somebody want to have white on the screen for desktop usage? This is very good for content, okay? Because this is going to give you a higher brightness, because brightness is about perception, what we perceive. It's not about, so luminance is about measurement. So if you have a display or a TV that can do up to 2000 nits, people think, oh, that means that's going to be a brighter display and it's going to look brighter to them. And it might look brighter, especially because those OLED, they're going to have a more relaxed ABL, so they're going to have a higher full screen brightness, okay? So people think that the peak brightness means that it's going to look brighter. Not necessarily. This is what's going to make the monitor look brighter, the full screen brightness. But for some reason, people are interested in this number for desktop usage, and that makes no sense to me. So somebody asked me, and I will explain you. Somebody asked me on the previous video, why do you have the browser like this? Why do you have everything black, the letters on red? Why do you have this like that? For my eyes. That's why. So what I'm using is, I am using a high contrast theme on Windows. So this is a custom high contrast theme on Windows. So what I do is I take advantage of having an OLED. So this is an LG C1 OLED. So I take advantage of having perfect blacks. So when you have a black background, there is no light damaging your eyes, basically. So your eyes are more relaxed. So you can use the computer for a longer time without getting tired. That's so much better. That if you have an OLED and you don't take advantage of that, I think you're missing out big time. This is the best about having an OLED display as a desktop monitor. So people interested in this number to have a white window, because people say, oh, if you get, for example, an LG C2 or C1 for a desktop monitor, as a desktop monitor, then if you have a small window that is white and you increase the size of that window, it's annoying to see the difference in brightness, because I want to increase the window and it's as bright as if when it was small. Why would you want? Why on earth would you want to have 250 nits white, throwing that to your eyes and work long hours like that? That makes no sense. You're going to destroy your eyes. So what I do is I have all the black I can have, or all the perfect black I can have on the desktop, and on top of that I change the color of the letters to the color red, because the color red is not going to get my eyes tired. So what I'm trying to avoid is blue. The blue lights are nasty for your eyes. So the white has blue. So what I do is I have green, red, yellow, and black. So my eyes are more relaxed, okay? So this 250 nits full screen brightness is amazing for the content. This is not a selling point, in my opinion, for desktop usage, because no one should use it's just for your eyes, it's just for the health of your eyes. No one should use 250 nits white full screen and be reading an article. That makes no sense. Or a book. That makes no sense, man. You're going to damage your eyes if you do that. This is too much brightness, full screen. So yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that, because this is a monitor and people think about productivity and working on the monitor, and they might look at this number and say, oh, this is so much better and as a desktop, and I would not use this at all ever. But it is very good. If this is true, it would be very good for the content. So they're saying here 1000 nits peak brightness, and it might have. So this monitor might be 1000 nits. It might have 1000 nits of peak brightness, but that's not what Samsung is advertising. So they're also saying here 80% Rec 2020 coverage, which is very good. It's better than the C1, for example. The C1 is like 70 something, 74%, something like that. So it's gonna be better. Not as good as the S95C, by the way. The S95C I think is better than this. I'm not sure, don't remember the number, but it might be better than this. I think it is. So I mean, yeah, just a small detail. And it's gonna be a curved monitor. So think about that. 21:9 ultra wide curve. I would strongly recommend you to give it a try first, because in my opinion, ultra wide is love it or hate it situation, basically. You might love it, but you might not like it at all. Okay? So I would strongly suggest you to give it a try first before pulling the trigger. Like, if you've never played on an ultra wide monitor, just ordering this high-end monitor for the first time, you might not like it at all, or you might love it. It depends on the games that you play. Yeah, some games are gonna be amazing with that, and some other games are not going to be amazing. Especially for productivity, I think that curve might be a problem, because you're going to see maybe some distortion. So this is gonna be amazing for gaming, but maybe not for desktop usage. So let's see what else we can read from the product page from Samsung. So 3440 by 1440, that's ultra wide, 0.1 milliseconds response time. Again, wait for this hardware unboxed, because I strongly suspect that this is not gonna be 0.1 millisecond response time, near black. So that's gonna be very important. So for example, I much rather have 1 millisecond, 1.5 millisecond response time across all the transitions, perfect, than having 0.1 millisecond in some of the transitions and having a bad response or a much worse response near black. So that's very, very important to consider. Let's see what else we have. See, FreeSync on, that's what they are advertising. FreeSync Premium, which is what this saying LG C1 has, this C2, all these LG OLEDs, they have FreeSync Premium. They have this USB-C to connect to your Apple, your Mac laptop. And just the adjustments on the monitor, the tilts. And that's it. Let's see if we have some specs here. Yeah, so we have some specs. The size. So see, they are advertising 250 nits brightness, and they are saying typical. So this might be the full screen brightness, 250 nits. Brightness minimum 200. So yeah, so basically this might be just some dimming. So for example, you might have 250 nits, but then with the protection that they are using, it might be dimming a little bit to 200, but that's okay. It's okay, that's not a big deal. And I think they are also saying that it is going to be less likely to burn in the WRGB OLEDs. So that's why they are pushing that higher full screen brightness. They are just confident, more confident that it's not gonna have a problem. So see, no G-Sync, see? No G-Sync here. Black equalizer, so it doesn't have that black stabilizer. Low input lag mode, so it doesn't have like a boost mode or anything like that. But that doesn't matter, that's the lowest input lag you can probably get. Although I think that QD OLEDs are not as good in terms of the input lag as WRGB OLEDs. At least not on the TVs. See what else we have here. It's the interface, the ports. So no HDMI. So it's gonna have mini display ports. This is so weird. Just a mini display port. A micro HDMI. Why are they doing this? Micro HDMI 2.1. Why? Why not having just a regular HDMI connector? That's insane. Yeah, I don't know why they are going this micro ports. Yeah, that's it. They don't have regular ports. So they do not have display port. No display port. It's a mini display port. They do not have HDMI port. It's a micro HDMI 2.1 and a micro HDMI, so no 2.1, but it's micro ports. And they have this USB-C. They have two USB-C and an additional USB-C charging power port. They have Bluetooth 5.2. That's it. I don't like that. Why? That makes no sense. Especially for people that already invested in a long HDMI 2.1 cable. For some reason you have your PC farther away from the monitor and you have a long cable, that's not gonna work, and then you need to get a new cable. Well, I expect that the cable is coming on the box. Otherwise that would make no sense. Power consumption 50 watts, that seems extremely low. That seems extremely low. I don't like that. I think that these monitors and the TVs, I believe they are being nerfed just to keep the power consumption low, and I don't like that. Give me more power. I'm paying big dollars, especially if you get that 77-inch S95C. Give me all the power. I don't care. I'm paying $4,500. Give me all the powers. So they're saying here the accessories. It comes with a power cable, 1.5 meters. That's very short. It comes with a mini DisplayPort cable. And that's it. So they are only including a mini DisplayPort cable on the box. So no HDMI 2.1 cable. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, it means mini DisplayPort to. I hope it is mini DisplayPort in one end and regular DisplayPort in the other end, so you can connect it to a GPU. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't know why they did that. So we have here some comments, some reviews from customers. Let's see if we have a negative review here. Price. Somebody complaining about the price after they pay for it. You can read the comment there if you are interested. Just pause and read some of the comments. See if there's something. Okay, this is the comment I wanted to bring up. Great monitor, but annoying TV apps. So it has TV apps, that monitor. So maybe those TV apps, they are bringing the price down, because I believe the TVs, because they have the apps, and the apps, they know what you're watching and what you like. That's information that they sell probably. That's why that brings the price down, because I think they do sell that information. So they know what you're watching, so they can send you some advertisement and stuff, for you to buy services and stuff. So that might bring the price down of this monitor. So that's one of the things. TVs are usually a better deal because you get a bigger screen and it's a better price. But they might be doing this to improve the price of this monitor. But I don't know, why would you watch TV on this anyway, because you're not going to see any ultra-wide programs. So this is gonna be terrible. It's gonna be 1440p, which there's no TV programs you're gonna see at 1440p unless you're watching YouTube videos that you can change the resolution to 1440p. So you're gonna see two massive black spaces on the sides. You're gonna see this is gonna be black here, this is gonna be black here. That makes no sense for TV watching. So I don't know why would they include those smart functionalities, but I much rather have it than don't. But this is for gaming, specifically for gaming. So let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions. We also have this Odyssey G9, which is 32 by 9. But this is available now. This one is available now. So let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.